Daddy's home, baby. That's right. We're back talking about my favorite inverts. And no, they're not your spineless friend that Venmo requests you 13 cents for a little bit of gas money, but inverts in the tank. Let's go. We're back, baby, and today we are talking about invertebrates. Like I said, these are the creatures in the tank that don't have spines, and a lot of them are part of the cleanup crew or just kind of fun creatures to watch. And I'm going to take you through my top 7 invertebrates and one that I would never get again because it causes way more issues than I ever thought, and I just don't like it. I wish I could put it in the sump, but it would probably die, and I've already had enough death in the tank, so we're going to stay away from that. But coming in at number 7, drum roll please, are the peppermint shrimps. And the peppermint shrimps are, why they're number 7, they kind of suck. After I put them into the tank, I never see them. I got them originally, well, Michael surprised me with them to eat my Aptasia, and guess what? The Aptasia is still there, so they're not doing a great job. I think Jimmy hunted down 1 or 2 of them because they've been hiding, and I don't know, I haven't seen them in like a week or 2. Other than that, they really don't add a lot of flavor. I don't know, they're just not great shrimp. I probably wouldn't get them again. Coming in at number 6, we have the Asteria snails, and now these are work horses. Asteria snails are a really solid invert, and I would recommend that you get them in every one of your tanks. They eat algae all day long, either on the glass or on the rock work. They also are really small, and they don't really knock over corals or any of the frags we have, which is a huge plus, and you'll get into why, because one of my other snails is giving me a big issue. And I also tossed 2 into my sump, and this is just because as my Cheeto grows, so does other nuisance algae, and they just eat all that up all day long. And look how big they're growing. You can even see the band on them as they start to soak up that calcium carbonate from the water and grow. I didn't really think I would notice them growing, but after almost a year, they're getting big, baby. Coming in hot on their cycles, Chad and his motorcycle gang and the boys of the hermit crabs are definitely super cool inverts. I rank them over the Asteria snails for one reason and one reason only. Because they are banging. You see them crawling around the crib all day long, eating up algae, harassing my fish. They just do it all. Yeah, I'll put even a little cool clip of it coming out of its shell to really see what the base looks like. I didn't know, but they kind of got a nice badonkadonk, if you know what I'm saying. And these hermit crabs, I definitely would recommend about the same, 1 per every 4 gallon in the tank. And make sure you get a lot of shells though, because you'll see they'll switch, and sometimes they'll even do an old switcheroo. In the wild, they'll line up almost like a conga line where they're going dun 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 dun, and that's how they switch. They kind of line up, so the smallest one will get the next size up, and they go all the way up for a new shell. Really cool species, and definitely recommend to add some personality to your tank. And tied at number 4, I can't count. Tied at number 4, we have the Nassarius snail and the feather duster. And you're probably wondering, these are so awkward to tie. And that's because I couldn't decide. Feather duster, 1, it looks really aesthetically pleasing. It's a super cool worm that is light sensitive, so it'll go in and out at the glance of my hand. And they eat Phyto all day long. And I don't know if you remember when it dropped its crown a few months ago, but it has grown to be huge. And I really like it, but then the Nassarius snails also add way more personality than any of the other snails I have in my tank. Because when I feed any mysis shrimp, you see them emerge from the depths with their little trunk sticking out, climb all over the tank, and they're like, oh, there's no more food, and they submerge right back into the sand. They also keep my sand nice and sifted, so there's not really a buildup of any detritus or anything in that sand. But I want you to leave a comment down below which one you think is better, the feather duster or the Nassarius snail. I'm leaning towards the feather duster, but I really could not make a decision. Scurrying in at number 3, we got Jacques from Nemo, or if you remember him from our tank, Consuela, the cleaner shrimp. And I ranked her at number 3. Actually, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but number 3 because so much personality. And it kind of started like a bad date with me and Consuela, because originally she kind of pissed me off. All she would do was pick at my corals, actually see her reach into my GSP and take out one of the shrimp I fed it. So I was like, Consuela, what are you doing? You're causing me so many issues. Then as time went on, she really grew on me. I could even put my hand in the tank and she'll come up looking for food, and she's even picked off dead skin from my hand. which is super cool. And also, she's just hilarious to watch. All day in the tank, she's either sitting in a little cove, and then she'll crawl up, kind of scurry around, look for any food. I also think I watched her right when I added my peppermint shrimp, completely Bobby Schmurda one. Literally just went boom, and I think it died. I don't know. It kind of just like vaporized. So really cool shrimp to see. In the future, I might get a second one because I heard you can actually breed them, which is kind of cool. Another interesting facet, if you will, to the cleaner shrimp, but highly recommend having one. Also, they do a great job at keeping parasites and any other issues out of your tank because any issue to them is food to her, so definitely recommend getting one. Slowly crawling in at number 2, we have the urchin. Boo! Now granted, I did make this list before I saw it pick up one of my frags and actually rip it off from the frag plug itself and just took the Zoa and was crawling around with it. So maybe it would be a little higher on the list if I had to remake it, but honestly, I still like it a lot. It adds a really cool dynamic to the tank because it's kind of like a pin cushion. I never really thought I would have one of those in my tank. And the moment you have all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 invert, and I recommend to every single person with a reef tank, is a conch.
Magic conch shell? You mean like this?
I'm pretty sure based on the trunk, I have a tiger conch, but these things are awesome. They are so full of personality. My conch actually still needs a name, so if you have any ideas, you know what to do. Leave that baby in the comment section down below. I will take a look at it and eventually give him or her a name. But anyway, these guys are hilarious. He's either sitting on my rock, kind of trying to get that hair algae, bulldozing through the sand, or he'll dive in, poke his little 2 eyes out, and he kind of just looks like an alien, searching, waiting, because he doesn't want to get eaten, so he just sits in that all day long, and he'll hop around on his foot, super mobile. And he just is hilarious to watch. Like, you really have to get one to understand. And he is a very large invertebrate where I wouldn't recommend getting one unless you have at least a 25-gallon tank. But I've had no issues with them. He doesn't knock anything over. He's not bothering me. He's not picking up my zoas. Just really an awesome invert to have, and a lot of personality to go along with it, which is really rare in the hobby. I might even get a second one. I know they're recommended for about 1 per 20 gallons, but I don't want to crowd it. I'm going to let them grow for now, and if I still have an issue with algae, I may get a second. What's that? Is that the Jeopardy Daily Double? A little bonus round here. The invert that I would never ever keep again is the Mexican turbo snail. And you're probably wondering why. I thought people loved these things. Absolutely not. 1, he is way too big for my tank. He causes so many issues. I was even thinking about sending him to Dr. Phil to get these issues sorted out because he is always causing a problem. First, he's knocked over my bubble coral. My bubble coral, one of the biggest corals I have in my tank, actually swam under it and pushed up and caused it to knock over, which made me incredibly mad. Bulldozes all of my Zoa frags over. Just always is causing issues, and the benefit really isn't that great. I'd rather have 3 Asteria snails than 1 turbo snail. And like I said, I did want to banish him to my sump, but I don't want him to die in there because there isn't enough food. But I don't know. I think he's way too big. Maybe if you had a really established tank where the corals are huge and secured down to the rock really well, maybe go on them. But for any small tank, definitely do not get a Mexican turbo snail. They are way too many issues, so many other better options. I'd rather just get a conch at that point. Like, do not get one. Trust the process.
Trust the process?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is ReefBros' take on inverts. And I know there are so many more out there. There's starfish, cocoa worms, different types of hermit crabs, a lot of other crabs like the emerald crab, which unfortunately died. But there are so many cool inverts that you can get in a saltwater tank. Let me know if you see one that I should try because, I don't know, I always want to look into it. Starfish, I know, come with their slew of issues, but I'm a big invert guy. As you can tell, I have more inverts than fish, so let me know and we'll see where we can go. ReefBros out, baby. Feels good to be back. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I need money for fish.